quadratic and exponential equations. So the first thing, linear equations, who knows the parent function of a linear equation? Y equals what? Good, mx plus b. So if it's written like that, I know that I have a linear function. Who remembers what the word degree means for a brain bug? Raise your hand. What's degree mean? Yeah. Highest exponent, correct. So our degree for linear functions is always 1, which is like this, an invisible 1. It can also look like this. So anything where there's no exponent or it's an invisible exponent of 1, it's a linear equation. How do I know if a linear equation is increasing? What do we know about the slope? So when we look at linear equations and we're looking at the slope, how would I know if the line's going up? How would I know if this slope? What would I know about the slope if the line is going up or increasing? Is it going to be negative or is it going to be positive? Positive. So I know if I have a positive slope, that it's going to be increasing. What does that mean about decreasing? What's the slope going to be? Negative. So in order to tell you have to get it in this y equals mx plus b. So you can't tell unless you're putting it into y equals mx plus b. Cool. Quadratic is my next one. So my quadratic equation, and these are all on your formula sheet, is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Or my vertex form that looks like this. Or it can look like in factored form, like what we did yesterday. So that's factored. What's the degree of quadratics? What number? 1. What's the highest exponent that you see on all those? 2. So quadratics have a degree of 2. This one just looks a little bit different because you'd have to do the Fox method and it would turn to something that looks like that. But if there's 2 parentheses together, we learned yesterday it was factored form, that's still quadratic. We know it's positive, or if it's going up, like remember that positive Patricia? If our A is positive, we know it's negative or going down, like a negative Nancy, like that, if our A is negative. We did all that last unit. We did all of this before. Last one is exponential. So exponential numbers is x in the exponents. So it looks something like this. So it's always, if there's any variable in the exponent, we know it's exponential. How do I know if it's increasing? We haven't looked at exponential in a little while. And how I know if it's decreasing. Remember this b right here. If the b is greater than 1, I know it's increasing. I know it's decreasing if the b is less than 1. So remember, if it was that b was that growth or decay factor, if it was a fraction, I know it's decreasing. If it's a number bigger than 1, I know it's increasing. So for example, let's come up with this one. Would this one right here be increasing or decreasing? This first one. Is this 1/3 this b, is that smaller than 1 or bigger than 1? Smaller. So since that's smaller than 1, that's decreasing. So we're always looking at this guy right here. What about this? Would this be increasing or decreasing? Increasing. So we may just like want to touch up on exponentials. We haven't gone over it in a little while. But you need to remember that that b is going to be bigger than 1 if it's growing, and decaying it would be less than. What could I do with my table and my calculator to figure out if it's growing or decaying? I totally forget on the miles. What could you do with your calculator that we worked on yesterday? Put it into table, and you see if the y's are getting smaller, you know it's decreasing. If the y's are getting bigger as you're scrolling down, you know it's increasing. So always use that calculator on your milestone to make sure, like, hey, I know I got that right. Because there's a lot to remember, especially since we literally crammed two semesters of Algebra 1 in basically less than 1. Like, you guys are done learning new material in 3 weeks. That's how fast we're going. So you got to make sure we kind of review all of this together. Any questions on equations? So all I want you to do is at the bottom, there's just a bunch of equations. All I want you to do is label L for linear, Q for quadratic, or E for exponential. That's all you're doing for this. So I'll give you a few minutes. You're just writing E for exponential, L for linear, Q for quadratic. Sure. Mm-hmm. Cool. Harry, what's the first one? Good. Exponential. Betsy, what's the second one? Quadratic. Good. Damon, third one? Read your notes. You got a 33% chance you're going to get it right. Make an educated guess. Okay. Can someone help him out? No. Good. Linear. Because there's no exponent, or if it's an invisible 1. Angel, what's the next one? Not quadratic. What is it, Allison? You have quadratic too? It's exponential. So even though there's a 2 in there, if there's any exponent, or if there's any variable, like x, it's automatically exponential. Allison, try this one. Let's see. Next quadratic. Damon, F. Good, linear. Karan, the next one. What's this one? Not quadratic. Exponential. Because if there's an x in the exponent, it's exponential. Graziano, what's H? Good. Exponential. Stephen, what's I? This one. Give it a guess. Why not exponential? Because there's no x in the exponent. Linear. Right. So if there's no exponent, it's linear. Victor, what's J? Beautiful. Keandra, what's K? Yes, it's quadratic. And then last one, Brandon. Good. Exponential. Were you guys good with those? Yeah. All right, that's half the lesson. The next part is just looking at graphs. So you're going to this part of it right here where it says graphs. So flip your page over. And then after this, we're just practicing on quizzes. So just identifying. Because we need to get the basics right in order to make sure we get everything else right. Cool. Linear. What word is in linear that tells me what it looks like? Line, right? So linear is just a straight line. So it could be going up, down, side. So as long as it's a straight line. So we're on the back of that page. A straight line is linear. I remember that because line is literally in linear. It'll look something like this. Or it could be going down, or side. Cool. Quadratic. For brain buck, who could tell me what shape a quadratic's in? Not a square. It starts with a P. What shape is a quadratic in? It starts with a P. Second letter is the A. Yeah, Michael, parabola. So parabola is a quadratic. So it looks like a lowercase n or upside down or a u, but quadratic is a parabola. Exponential looks like a curve. So if it's exponential, it looks like a curve. So this could be an exponential or it could be decreasing. Remember, we read everything left to right. So if it's going up, we know it's increasing. If it's going down, we know it's decreasing or decaying. We know if it looks like a happy face, it's positive. This would be a negative. Cool. So now you're just going to the 6 graphs on the bottom. Besides D, you can cross. What? Oh, I didn't mean to write exponential. I meant to write a curve. Thank you. So, write a curve, not exponential. So a curve would be an exponential. So what you're doing, cross out that letter D. We don't learn D in Alpha 1 as an absolute value. So all you're doing for the bottom 6 is you're just labeling it. Is it quadratic, linear, or exponential? So for the bottom 6, you're just labeling what it is. You could cross out D, that's absolute value. I also want you to write if it's positive or negative, or increasing or decreasing. It's just a curve. So it looks like this. So for the graphs, make sure you're writing what it is, and then like if it's increasing or decreasing, or if it's a quadratic, positive or negative, like positive Patricia or negative Nancy. Cool. Great. Allison, what's the first one? Linear. And is it increasing or decreasing? Good. Linear and it's increasing. Jocelyn, what's the exponential? Is it increasing or decreasing? Increasing, right? So it'd be curve. Angel, what's C? It is a parabola. What's it called though? What type of function? Good. Quadratic. And is it a positive or negative? Good. It's a positive, Patricia. So it's positive. Kyrie, what's E? Good. What is it, positive or negative? Good. Negative Nancy. Brownie. And last one, Victor, what's this one? Linear, and is it increasing or decreasing? Do you guys feel okay with that? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're getting your computers out. If you don't have one, go get one. You're going to be doing a practice quizzes with just like identifying it. So what you're doing is you're identifying the equation. Is it exponential, linear, quadratic, and then or what type of graphs there are. So you're going on, you're logging on to quizzes, and then this is the code right here. We are going to put this in the grade book. So like if you want to, you could take it as many times as you want to until you get the grade that you like. Once you're done, the ticket out the door is just both actually the ticket in and out the door. So if you want to get started while your computer's logging in, this right here, you're labeling it, is it linear, quadratic, or exponential? So this is the ticket in the door and out the door. So you're labeling each one. This one right here, you're labeling which graph looks exponential, or which one is linear, sorry. And this one's saying which one's exponential. It's 2 multiple choice questions. Does that make sense? So you're doing, this is your ticket out the door that you grabbed. So make sure that you do that before you leave. But this, we are putting this as a quiz grade in. So the highest grade you get, we'll put in the grade book. Basically, we're trying to help you out.